Welcome to this deep dive analysis of Group A for the FIFA World Cup 2026. The tournament will be co-hosted by Canada, USA, and Mexico. We'll be reviewing the strengths, weaknesses, key players, and World Cup prospects for Mexico, South Africa, Korea Republic, and Czechia.
Looking at the attack, South Korea leads with a score of 8 out of 10, utilizing fast transitions and excelling in speed. Mexico follows with 7 out of 10, relying on technical possession, while Czechia and South Africa score 6.8 and 6.3 respectively. Mexico, high-threat counterattack led by Raúl Jiménez. However, he is heavily dependent on service. Without a strong midfield feed, the threat dries up. South Korea features a world-class duo in Son Heung-min and Lee Kang-in. Despite the pedigree, they are currently facing a form slump, having failed to score in their last 2 friendlies. Czechia, led by the clinical Patrick Schick, 1 goal every 2 games, and creative engine Pavel Schultz, they possess the most consistent goal-to-game ratio in the group when their starters are fit. South Africa, built on the pace of young winger Oswin Apollos. While Lyle Foster is the focal point, his current lazy form and friction with the coach make the front line a question mark.
In defense, Mexico and Czechia share the highest score of 7.5 out of 10. Mexico uses an organized, compact system, while Czechia employs a physical low block. South Korea and South Africa are close behind with scores of 7 out of 10. Employs an organized low block under Aguirre. Vasquez provides Serie A-level solidity, but the structure is fragile and prone to losing shape without a dedicated midfield shield. South Korea, anchored by Kim Min-jae, one of the top 3 defenders globally. While he is a dominant elite presence, there is a noticeable talent gap between him and the rest of the backline. Czechia utilizes a compact 3-4-2-1 system led by captain Ladislav Krejci. They are statistically the hardest team to break down in a single-match format. South Africa, extremely disciplined unit that conceded only 5 goals in 10 qualifiers. While they are a cohesive low block, the PSL-based defenders face an unprecedented jump in quality against Premier League and Bundesliga attackers.
For goalkeeping, Czech Republic has the highest overall score at 7.8 out of 10. Mexico is rated at 7.5, South Africa at 7.3, and South Korea at 7.0. The scores are based on reflexes, aerial control, big match mentality, and penalties. Mexico, currently in a state of crisis. With Malagon out, they must rely on an unproven Rangel or a 40-year-old Ochoa. This is their most vulnerable position. South Korea. Kim Sung-yu is experienced and reliable. While he rarely makes errors, his lack of exposure to elite European competition remains a concern. Czechia boasts the group's best-rated keeper in Mate Kovar. His elite shot-stopping and Champions League experience make him Czechia's greatest asset. South Africa. Ronwen Williams is a world-class penalty specialist and Ballon d'Or nominee. He is arguably the most valuable individual player for South Africa's survival chances.
South Africa's manager, Hugo Bruce, has the highest overall score of 8 out of 10, reflecting strong tactical level, tournament experience, stability, and current success. Mexico's Javier Aguirre is close behind at 7.8 out of 10. Mexico, Aguirre, a brilliant crisis manager and the nation's greatest ever coach. Proven ability to get results, like the 0-0 versus Portugal, even with a depleted squad. South Korea, Hong Myung-bo, boasts a high win rate, 63%, but operates under a cloud of controversy regarding his appointment and government inquiries into the KFA. Czechia, Miroslav Kobek, will be the oldest coach in World Cup history at 74. He has extremely limited time with the squad and 0 experience coaching against non-European opposition. South Africa, Hugo Bruce, an elite squad builder who has significantly improved the team's FIFA ranking. He is a proven winner, ACON 2017, and excels at creating team unity. Under Hugo Bruce, South Africa played 71 matches, out of which 34 win, 25 draw, and 12 lost. His winning rate is 48% and losing rate is 17%. But again, it depends on with whom they lost. We will look in next slides. Under Javier, Mexico winning is 54%, 15%. Under Hong, South Korea winning percent is 57% and losing is 19%. Miroslav is new coach for Czechia. Under him, it played only 2 and 2 draw, so winning and losing both 0. One common sense here, if you see losing percent is high, you need to check with which team they are losing. Are they losing with strong teams like Spain, France? Then it's okay for average team. Czech Republic draw with 2 strong team under new coach. That is also impressive for team like Czech Republic.
Analyzing injury and fitness risk, South Korea is categorized as having the lowest overall risk. Czechia has a medium risk. Mexico and South Africa face high and highest risks, respectively, primarily due to fatigue risk and squad depth concerns. Mexico, suffering from a severe pre-tournament crisis with 6 confirmed or likely misses, including their starting goalkeeper and key midfielders. South Korea, the squad's success is entirely tied to Son Heung-min's fitness. His history of foot and hamstring injuries represents a single point of failure risk for the team. Czechia, highly dependent on Patrick Schick's availability. Given his chronic muscular problems, the entire attacking threat is at risk of collapsing if he is sidelined. South Africa, the primary risk is the intensity gap. With most players based in the domestic league, their ability to sustain World Cup levels against elite global stars is the major unknown.
Reviewing South Africa's recent fixtures under Hugo Bruce shows a mix of results, including wins against Lesotho, Tanzania, and Zambia, but also draws and losses in friendlies and qualifiers. If you look at South Africa performance in 2025 and 2026, it is not that impressive. They lost with Egypt. That's okay. But losing with Panama is concern. They play only one country outside continent and lost.
The Czech Republic's fixtures under new manager Miroslav Koubek show a mixed start, with 2 draws in the World Cup playoffs. Results under the previous manager, Jaroslav Kestel, included both wins and losses in qualifiers and friendlies. The Czech Republic struggled to qualify, but did well under their new coach. Both playoffs they won with a good team under a penalty shootout, especially in the do-or-die match. But since both were on home ground, they have still not yet proven their strength. Mexico's recent fixtures under Javier Aguirre in 2025 and 2026 show varied results against international teams, with wins and draws in Gold Cup matches and friendlies. Mexico played most of their matches in the USA and Mexico, so being well-versed with the grounds is an added advantage. They usually lose to second-tier teams like Switzerland and Colombia, but in their recent 2 matches against strong teams like Portugal and Belgium, they managed a draw. South Korea's results under manager Hong Myung-bo include wins against Kuwait and China, but also losses to Iraq and Japan, highlighting some inconsistencies in their performance. South Korea has impressive record, but last 2 matches they lost with Ivory Coast and Austria.
Biggest surprise, Czech Republic topping the group. Why this can happen? Very disciplined European structure. Don't collapse easily, unlike Korea sometimes. Good at 1-0 wins, 1-1 draws. How it happens: draw versus Mexico, beat South Korea, tactical control, beat South Africa. Suddenly, 7 points, top of group. This is the most realistic surprise, not a crazy one. Shock result: South Africa draws a big team. Why possible? Physically strong, plays without pressure. Opponents may underestimate them. Most likely upset: South Africa versus South Korea. Korea struggles versus physical plus defensive teams. Or South Africa versus Mexico, if Mexico wastes chances plus crowd pressure turns negative. Even one draw can knock Korea out or push Czech to top. South Africa qualifying. This would be a true upset. Why it could happen? Bigger teams cancel each other. Plus, South Africa's strong, physical, and disciplined defensive football. One upset changes everything. If South Africa draws Mexico or beats unstable Korea, less pressure. Unexpected collapse: Korea finishes 3rd or 4th. Why? Already showed heavy loss pattern, like 0-4 type games. If system fails, team becomes vulnerable. Scenario: lose to Czech, draw or lose to Mexico. Pressure match versus South Africa. Suddenly, only 1 to 2 points, out of tournament. This is a very realistic surprise, not unlikely.
Overall rating: South Korea looking strong. Czech Republic good at goalkeeping and defense. According to data, the overall team assessment and data prediction puts Mexico in 1st place, largely due to the home advantage and experience. South Korea is predicted to finish 2nd, Czech Republic is 3rd, and South Africa is predicted to finish 4th. But my gut feeling says Czech Republic may upset South Korea, and South Korea will push to 3rd place.